Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Hearts of Iron 4. Portland Stronk! We conquered the USSR and also grabbed the vast majority of Turkey and all of Iran to boot, which is pretty nice for me because it means that I now control a pretty dominant portion of the world's oil supply. I'd like to conquer Iraq as well. Unfortunate that I wasn't quite able to grab all of the chromium to prevent the Germans from gaining access to any of that. Though I guess with Yugoslavia they had a fair bit to work with as well. I don't know. It does mean that I'm going to at least have a lot of chromium to work with really solid modern tanks if we wait until 1945 to attack the Germans. We also have a good chunk of oil. So between me and the United States, we probably control the world's majority of naturally occurring oil, which means we might be able to starve the Germans eventually. Maybe, although alternatively, it's also kind of likely that they'll just be, you know, building their own synthetic oil refineries. They do like to do that. All right, airbase expansion is done. We can work toward the fighter models, because I would like to get an ahead-of-time bonus for things like the 1944 fighters. Not sure we need that yet, but we will want it eventually. So just go ahead and get started. If I can get up to 150 political power, we'll grab an aircraft designer, the light aircraft, the extra agility. 10% is fantastic. So I would love to get my hands on some of that. What else do we do as far as upgrading our country? We could go for more conscription laws. I guess I could go for the trade deal, but there's not much else. We could also start working toward democratic reform, because that makes the allies like me. Or we could just stay non-aligned. It's more fun to stay non-aligned. Trade deal opinion factor is fine, but not a high priority. Chief of Air Force for the air superiority would be good. Switching to free trade. A lot more resources go to market, but man, that extra construction and research speed and stuff, I don't know. How are we doing in terms of repair? Overall, pretty well. Infrastructure is getting upgraded pretty quickly, so that's not too bad. I am building a whole load of extra military factories. Remember, of course, these guys build pretty quickly. We can build one every, like, 5 or 6 weeks. So we're producing more and more military factories pretty fast. Hopefully faster than the Germans will. I mean, those Polish bonuses, they don't just go away, man. They stick around for a long time. I do like the idea of making this guy into my field marshal. So I'm going to go ahead and make you into a field marshal. We need to switch you around. You're in charge, like so. We don't have enough generals to go around is the problem. But even so. So you guys are going to be defensively focused with infantry. You guys can actually swap around a little bit. We need to reinforce you. Actually, we need to reinforce a lot of you. Hang on. Attach you there. Okay. So defense, defense. Offense. Offense. Mostly offense. You guys are defensive. You guys are probably going to end up being offensive in some way. But for now, we'll make do with what we got. All right. So a lot of army divisions coming. A lot more defensive troops being trained. Guess we'll go ahead and create you. You can be defensive. You will be yellow, I guess. I don't even know what happened to our yellow army. We do need to set up our borders against Japan. I do think that I'm not going to attack Mongolia, at least until I know I have a front line long enough to fight Japan. It's to my advantage to break it up. So he's going to have fun fighting the Chinese United Front for a while, but we're looking okay. Let's see, you guys go ahead and join here as well. I guess I'll go ahead and tell all of you to just stack up here. So, how are we doing in terms of equipment? We're mostly lacking support equipment and anti-tank. You guys, so far, are not using anti-tank, and the funny thing is I want to, so we're just behind in that in general. Mostly reinforcing all these guys. I want to train this, the 40 combat with divisions, with logistics, some anti-air, really solid artillery and anti-tank, very good piercing value. Pretty solid breakthrough for an infantry division. Great soft attack. But it's going to cost me a lot more than I can afford at the moment. What do we have a surplus of? We are producing a good number of medium tanks. We're actually starting to build up there pretty quickly. Light tanks, we got a few. Got a good amount of artillery. We're starting to build up on that motorized. I will need a lot of that. Got some close air support, some tactical bombers, so on and so forth. Yeah, we're going to struggle a lot with the anti-tank. We're going to need a lot more of that. But I still need all these factories going into medium tanks, because unless I'm able to get an entire army, like, okay, here's how I typically work with this. With an offensive army, all right, this infantry stuff, it's good. But what's better is having 8 full 40-width combat medium tank divisions with 16 motorized divisions to fill the gaps. That's what I consider an ideal army of 24. All right? That's what I want to start working towards. All right, so let's see. It is 1942. We can start upgrading my companies. Is there anything else that I want to produce? Rocket artillery, perhaps? Maybe. I think we're going to end up going ahead of time on something. So what's it going to be? Do we want to go ahead and get started on the nuclear reactors? We can't do nukes until 1945 anyway, but we could start building up a lot of material. But I think it's more important to continue working on various different fighters and stuff. Heavy fighters, strategic bombers, we're already okay on all that. Could upgrade some navies. Don't need to do that. Let's start working toward an upgrade for our artillery. I think that seems reasonable enough. So what's being outproduced? Oh, right, it's the close air support. Okay, let's go ahead and start building the better ones of you. It's going to be at least another year or so before I am going to, really? Okay. What was I saying? It's going to be at least another year or two before I'm going to be able to start producing the ahead-of-time close air support. United Mexican States, they went full democratic and have joined the Allies? Yes! That's a whole nother huge source of oil that is going to be denied to the Germans when war breaks out. Though Texas is really where it's all at, man. Freaking Texas. Texas wins. But yeah. All right. There's some hope there. So if we can block, if we can prevent, embargo the Germans from all oil when the war breaks out, and the British Royal Navy is able to block them, and I'm able to surround the capital of Berlin, they absolutely will starve to death. So here's hoping the Allies actually are going to do something. Man, there's a time when I wish I could join the Allies just to see what their battle plans are and what they're actually planning for naval invasions. Oh, that would be convenient, but okay. Still no guarantees here. Still no guarantees here. All right. I mean, we'll see. The British might guarantee Afghanistan mainly because they don't want to have another front line I can use against the British Raj if I ever to attack them. I have zero intention of attacking them, but you never know. They get these weird ideas in their head, man, that maybe I'm some sort of a warmonger or something. Can you believe that? I'm going to get a better strategic bomber going. We could start working on some doctrines, which is not a bad idea because I really do need to win the air superiority game. Battlefield support's pretty solid. I don't dislike strategic destruction sometimes, if we were going bomber heavy. The extra 10% fighter agility is strong. That's air superiority there. Bombing. That's the other thing. We could use, if we could get the air superiority, we could really use strategic destruction, but I don't think we're going to. I think we will go for battlefield support. That seems fine. Let's upgrade our fighters again to level 2. Okay. Solid. We have a lot of factories right now for medium tanks, so we're already producing 7 per day. Now, we need to start creating some divisions for that, though, so let's go to Armored Division. I'm going to duplicate you. Now, the thing is, I could make 20 combat with medium tank divisions, and I'll start with that, but I really want to have the 40 combat with. That's a very, very important thing for me. I'll explain why in just a moment. Let me finish this thought. 32 organization is pretty solid. We could actually do more tanks, but that brings me down to only... No, that's all of them. Hold up. We could possibly remove you and do one more tank. That's only 28. 30 is kind of a minimum for me before I find that I start to have some serious issues. I could also start making these with mechanized, but I don't think we can afford that at the moment. So let's stick with this. So that's 30 organization, 20 combat with, 224 breakthrough, a reasonable amount of armor, and some piercing value. Okay, it's not outstanding, but it's acceptable. I will also toss on... I think I will wait until I have maintenance companies. So this seems fine. This is a 20 width medium division. Now we're going to duplicate you. And we're going to make you 40 width medium tank divisions. We're going to do all this again. Toss in some more of the motorized so I have some organization. We actually could afford to do a few more tanks. Do I want to do one more? Yes. All right. So this would be a 40 combat with tank division. Each one of these takes 600 medium tanks. So it's not cheap at all. But that's a good amount of soft attack. That's a tremendous amount of breakthrough. Pretty reasonable piercing and armor. And if I were to replace these guys all with mechanized eventually, that would make them even better. All right? Only question is, do I want to do this, or do I want to do just... do I want to swap this out for a little bit more motorized? A little more organization is nice. I think we probably should do it this way. Just a little bit more organization going. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference in terms of the stats. Much more breakthrough is not going to have, like... It's going to have a diminishing return at some point. We might as well have the better organization so we can keep pushing. Also HP. Alright, so that's my 40 combat with division. Alright. We're going to change your item. Your symbol, sorry. We'll make it you. Alright. So, the reason I like 40 combat with divisions, right? So, when we are engaging in a fight, you may have seen... you may have seen the kind of battle screen I had earlier where it had the my divisions on the left, their divisions on the right, and they just showed their stats, how much defense, breakthrough, and so on, what other modifiers are going on. Your troops are going to randomly attack one of those targets. You can't choose who they're going to attack. They don't attack in a straight line like on EU4. They attack a random target, right? Which means it's entirely possible for your entire army to be dividing their attacks between all your opponents, whereas if they focused fired on just one, they'll use all their combined breakthrough and soft attack to shatter them quickly and then just knock them down. You want to hit your enemy one at a time, but you have no control over that. 40 combat with has the advantage of all that force being brought to bear on one target. It's a great way to do focus fire. All right, I'm going to go full ahead of time on these medium tanks. I know it's a bit of a risk, but we're going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and start with a variant of you. No, we're not. I'm going to wait until this tank is done, because I'm only going to have so much army experience. I want to make sure that we are getting the best tank we can there. So let's go ahead and immediately lose a lot of our efficiency and start building this up. Yeah, I don't know. 40 combat with offensive divisions are the way to go. 20 combat with are better sometimes when you have a longer front line you need to fill, or when you're having supply issues and you can't support the weight. But if we're going to be fighting primarily in Europe, infrastructure should be pretty good. So I think that that's going to be fine. You know, one thing that would be nice is if we actually could also quickly cut off Slovakia and just get rid of all this, too, eventually. When we want to go to war with the Germans, it's not going to take me long. We'll be able to do a reconquest very, very quickly. 40 days is not a long time. Heck, I feel like it should be shorter. I'm pretty sure in one of my test games I got it to 10 days. I don't know what changed there, but all right. How are we doing in terms of training? Yellow is gradually getting filled out. We're doing pretty good in terms of infantry equipment. We are now catching up on anti-tank. Every 600 tanks is a single 40 combat with division, hence why I need so freaking many of them. It's greedy, man. And it's, again, it's nowhere near the production. This is pretty helpful, too. I'm going to go for support artillery instead, though. This is nowhere near the production levels, of course, of the Germans. They'll be able to produce far more. But, again, I don't need as many tanks as them. I just need the right number of tanks applied to the right pressure point to win the war. Absolutely need to have that. We are going to want to have a lot of motorized to fill them up as well. Follow in, fill those gaps. So, training up a lot of motorized would make a lot of sense, too. If we had enough artillery and infantry equipment and so on, I wouldn't mind training up my 40 combat with divisions instead of 20. Right? So, this does take a lot of infantry equipment and artillery. It does take some anti-tank and anti-air. Compare that with you guys. The anti-tank cost is the same, actually. So really it's just artillery and infantry equipment and stuff, and manpower, which I have. A little bit of motorized for the logistics, but we can handle that. I could start converting all of my 20 combat width infantry offensive units into 40 combat width. We could absolutely do that. We probably should, even. And I certainly will before the final war breaks out, but I want to build as much stockpile as possible. We have an absolute ton of upgrades that need to happen between towed anti-air, towed anti-tank, infantry equipment, and so on. All right, we can go ahead and upgrade our production of mechanized. If I could swap out mechanized for all motorized, that would also be very, very strong. But for now, we'll make do without it. Anything else I want to get ahead of time on? I think we probably could start upgrading our support companies, but that's kind of a last... It's kind of a last thing to do. We're already working on the doctrine, so that's fine. Do I start working on this ahead of time? Probably not a whole year ahead of time. Do I start working on the efficiency growth ahead of time? Probably not a whole year ahead of time there either. I can go ahead and research and upgrade a radar, though, and stuff, because we do definitely want to put down some anti-air and good radar to detect enemy fighters and shoot down all of Germany's fighters, because we want to have the air advantage, but he's got an absolute ton. Whoa. Ton of planes. Fall of Tokyo. The Americans landed in Japan? They got Tokyo. And Kyoto. Get to Osaka. Oh, frickin' America, if you can take out Japan quickly, this will be amazing. Then you can bring all your forces to heel against the Germans. And he won't have the... I can actually focus all my attention away from Japan? I'd love to do that. All right, let's go ahead and get the light aircraft designer. I want to have better planes. We are, once again, low on tungsten. Hey, USA, let's trade. More civilian factories for you. Come on, man, you can do it. Take Japan. Oh, what can I do to help you? How do I send you expeditionary forces? I can't. Darn it. That would have been awesome, though. All right, I really hope they win. This would actually be a massive shift and put the Germans on their back heel. We could absolutely take them out with the help of the Allies. Absolutely, we can do that. As far as construction, we are still working on a lot of factories, so I'm not going to worry about placing down any forts quite yet. We are still repairing a few things. Improved artillery upgrades are done. I'm going to hold off on you because we're about to get a free increase on that and make it fast, so let's work on something different. How about... It'd be fun, actually, to get some heavy tanks, too. I like those, but for now, maybe not. I don't want to get these medium tank destroyers or self-propelled artillery. I don't see the point. Let's go ahead and start working on upgrades to things like some companies. They don't take too long. We will want them eventually. I think I'm producing almost everything that I would want to produce. Production-wise, we've got a lot of factories. 35 factories currently working on medium tanks, so we're definitely ramping that up. We actually can train a single 40 combat width division now. We are going to need a lot more motorized, and I mean a lot of it. Or I can start making a lot of mechanized and really commit to this idea. So, mechanized, let's do a quick comparison here. So, mechanized are great. If we go... Let's just take the 20 combat width, for example. We're going to swap you guys out for mechanized. Now, mechanized are slower than motorized at the beginning of the game, but as you produce better and better mechanized, they actually do catch up in speed to the tanks. So if we toss this in, you can see our armor value goes up a little bit, more piercing, a bit more breakthrough, a lot more defense, more hard attack, more soft attack, and so on. They're really not that bad for just increasing the overall survivability of your tank divisions. Alternatively, though, what you could do is have your tank divisions with motorized, because you don't care about defense. All you care about is breakthrough, right? So you can have your medium tank divisions with just motorized, and instead of using 20 combat with motorized divisions to fill the gaps, use the mechanized, because they are the ones that are better at actually entrenching. You know, that's another thing. So if I took you guys, for example, and said I wanted to do 20 combat with mechanized, we'll swap all of you out, and that's going to take me a second, but let's see how much mechanized we actually need in order to build these up. Because that could be a very compelling reason to actually be doing mechanized instead. So take 500 mechanized for every one of these divisions. That is a lot. They also use a lot of fuel. But man, that defense value, though. 822 defense, really good HP, really good organization, means that the enemy is not going to be able to take over the land that I get using my tanks. Not very easily. So I'll go ahead and save this template with 50 XP. If we can build them, I will do so. In fact, I actually think that we could potentially pull back on motorized and really start building up our mechanized. We're now producing as many medium tank factories as I really want to, so that's fine. Yeah, let's throw everything we've got now into mechanized and see if we can build a bunch of those. All right. Do we have a surplus of anything in particular that I don't need anymore? I mean, I kind of need to keep the artillery because we're about to upgrade this. Support equipment, let's keep supplying that because we end up using a lot. We're almost done upgrading our anti-air. Still need the anti-tank, still need the fighters, still need all of this. Yeah. I don't really feel like pulling back on motorized. So, okay. Every new factory is just going to go to mechanized at this point. Lots and lots and lots of mechanized. And we'll try training those up. They're very, very strong if you can get good ones. Not to mention, though, at the very least, the mechanized increases, or technology improves the hardness. No, I thought it improves the hardness. It doesn't seem to actually do much for my my motorized. They still have 0 armor. Yeah, that's the other thing. Mechanized have armor, which means if your enemy does not have any piercing value at all, then these guys take half damage, which makes them that much better. Now, the Germans will have that, so it's not a big deal. But even so, I thought there was an increase to hardness value. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it did affect motorized. Oh, there it is. Motorized infantry hardness. Huh. Doesn't seem to actually have done much, though. Justification. Okay. Mechanized infantry soft attack would be great. Amphibious is fun. So we can kill Afghanistan, huh? So my question now... Are you going to join a faction? Probably. Do I care? As long as you don't join the Allies of the Axis, this is fine. Alright, we're declaring war on Afghanistan. You guys get to Kabul. You guys push up this way. We should be able to win this, no problem. Just let's see if he joins a faction or not, and who? Chinese United Front. Okay, of all the factions to join, that's not a big deal. That's the one that Japan is fighting. Actually, wait a minute. That could be a... Okay, hang on. No, that actually could be a pain. Yeah, that could be a pain. Okay, hang on. Forget this for a second. I need you guys to redeploy quickly down over here to Xinjiang, because they are in the Chinese United Front, and they could potentially be an issue. Non-aggression pact from Japan. I accept because I don't intend on attacking you, but I am very much rooting for the Americans to win. Hopefully that means that they won the naval game. And hopefully they're sending a lot more troops, as I see the Japanese are pushing back here on Kochi. But you're almost getting to Hiroshima. Yeah, they're getting through Kochi. You're not defending over here very well. Don't let them get Osaka back, but we're pushing past Tokyo. Come on, America. Get them. All right, Yunnan, Shaanxi, Shibai Sanma, the Guangxi Clique, Communist China. Okay, all the Chinese United Front people are attacking me, basically. Let's see if we can quickly get Afghanistan down so we don't have to worry about them anymore. Capitulate. They may not actually have enough victory points to technically be able to do anything. They may not be able to capitulate just because we took their one city. We may have to just take land. When you guys go this way. We don't have to fight him, but... Steel is a problem, huh? Really? Alright. Let's trade the... You know what? Let's trade the UK. Give them some factories. British Raj. I might as well. Okay. Afghanistan's actually out. Perfect. That was easy. So am I no longer at war? I don't think I am. No, I am. Okay. Yeah, we're at war, but we were able to just grab Afghanistan, which means no partisans. That's fun. Yeah, okay, sure, great. All right, you guys set up over, let's say, here. Your offensive line will be to go down this way, because we'll see if these guys end up getting pulled in. Yellow, your offensive line is to go down this way. I'm not really interested in helping Japan as a thing. We'll gain nothing out of this war. In fact... Sorry, I know I'm rethinking stuff here, but forget this. You guys go back. Go back where you were before. You were fine. Red, all I want for you is just to hold this line so he doesn't take any of my stuff. But I'm not actually going to push. Probably. Let's have a few troops set up over here. Couple down over here. Yeah, we're just going to contain him so he doesn't be a threat to me. In the meantime, Japan should be able to win this war. But if they don't, I'll have to swoop in. United States, man, you're doing all right. You're doing great. How far away is Japan from capitulating? Oh, they're so close. 66%? This is one of the reasons I don't want to help against the Chinese United Front, because I don't want Japan... I want Japan to be fighting on two fronts. This is to my advantage. But freaking heck, the Americans have landed up here now, too. If they can get Hiroshima and Nagasaki... Oop, they lost Osaka. That's a problem. Okay, the Americans might be stupid right now. They're pushing in kind of dumb ways. Uh-oh. Yeah, they're losing some of these points here. Still, if they keep sending a bunch of troops and just flood into Japan, by 1942, having Japan down, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, the Japanese are fighting back pretty hard. Desperately. Ah, what I could do to help you. Join wars from Estonia. No. Sure, non-aggression pacts with all these folks that live in the Japanese sphere of influence. Don't really care about that. You're fine. Alright, still training up more defensive troops. Regardless of whether we have to fight Japan or not, this is going to be good. We are committing 19 factories to mechanized. We're now producing quite a few per day. Producing plenty of motorized, which is good. We are out of steel again. Yeah, I'm having to trade for a lot. Come on, UK, give me more. Alright. British Raj actually doesn't have that much to go. Let's trade with British Malaya, I guess. Alright, Siam joins the co-prosperity sphere. Iraq is now being... alright, forget it. They're being defended. Boo, allies, boo! Oh well, we got Afghanistan. I guess it's technically something. Purple. I'm going to send you as a defensive line in Yugoslavia. Primarily. Let's split you up by half. Make sure that I entrench heavily down here. National focus, army modernization is okay. I'm kind of want to get this just to see if it does lead to another bonus for my tanks. I'm not sure if I want this yet. Let me come back to that. Heavy fighters, I haven't used those. I think I'll go ahead and get started on the... actually, wait. Let's go ahead and do the air doctrine. With air innovations. Doctrines take a while. Alright, you guys get to all join with yellow, I guess. I thought they already were being assigned to that. Oh, no, I guess they didn't have a front line for a moment. Ah, whatever. I can manually control it. That's fine. Germans, how are you doing? Okay, you haven't built that many more factories. You got a lot of troops, admittedly. You got a lot of planes, admittedly. I have more manpower than you, which I find absolutely hilarious. And the U.S. is starting to lose ground in Japan. Come on, send all your troops up here, please. It would be so very cool if you were able to beat them. Sinkyong, for whatever reason, is not being called in on the Chinese United Front. Don't know why. We can't attack anybody until they do. That's why I just have to leave the army there staring at them menacingly for a while. Alright, production, construction. We are still producing some factories. I'm running out of civilian factories, though. Starting to, anyway. We're not producing quite as many lines as we used to. Too much trade, man. Too much trade. Alright, there they are. Alright, so they're going to be attacking me. I guess I could technically gain a little out of the war if I just push this way. Sure. He's got no troops. So, I mean... I won't gain much war participation, but I'll get something, I guess. Whatever. I mean, if it's free land, it's free land. And it's not like it's going to change what the Japanese are currently fighting, because there's nobody over here anyway. This is literally just a way for me to hedge my bets and get something out of Japan's own war without actually helping Japan in a meaningful way. Unless I make these guys capitulate. How many troops you got? I guess it could technically make a difference, but not much. All right, so that's going to finish up this defensive army. We have a lot of infantry equipment and a lot of artillery. So I guess now we should start converting my offense. All of you to 40 combat width. This would take a lot more manpower, infantry equipment, towed artillery, and so on. We have all of this. Do it. They're all going to become green. There's just so much that we're adding onto the pile, but whatever. You. Can we do the same thing? Yep. And we should still have... Okay, now we have a deficit of artillery. A pretty big one, actually. So I'm not going to do more than that. We're not going to worry about the strategic bombers. Let's go ahead and upgrade our artillery quickly. It's only going to take 72 days. You guys are going to be forming new defensive armies. And probably setting up against Japan's... Well, it eventually will end up being Japan's borders down here. I'll send you guys this way. For now. And let's stop training quite so many of these guys, actually. Currently getting a little bit too much. So that's that. That's going to be 21 divisions. Cancel one more. 20 divisions. All of you guys get assigned to purple. That'll be 24. Perfect. Okay. And then everything else is going to go to offensive stuff, probably. At least for the moment. All right. Well, I guess this is a good place to end this. Looks to me like America managed to take over Hokkaido. But unless they're going to cross the strait, it looks to me like they are losing the advantage in the Kanto and Tokai. So I think that America may be in trouble unless they're going to send a lot more troops down here. And for that, they need to have the huge naval advantage. I don't know. It doesn't look to me like America's actually committing enough troops to beat Japan down right now. Would have been really awesome. But alas, is not to be. Anyone else that I'm able to attack right now? I don't think so. Shy of Mongolia? I don't think we'll be able to take on Norway. They're democratic, so they're going to get guaranteed no matter what. So there's no one else we can attack right now. Yeah, all we can do is sit back and freaking produce, man. But we've got medium tanks coming in. That's 2 combat width divisions. 40 combat width divisions ready if we want to start training them. I need 8. So we're a quarter of the way done for super dangerous tanks. Gosh dang, this is going to take a while. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.